Hello everyone, welcome back to Kaushal Bioprep. In today's video lecture, we are starting new topic, and that is the vermicompost and vermiculture. Starting with the word vermicomposting. So this word basically comes from the Latin word that is the vermis, which means the worms, right? So vermicomposting means natural bioconversion of the biodegradable garbage into high quality manure with the help of earthworm. So earthworm are basically the star of the show. सो वर्मी कंपोस्ट में होता क्या है, यू बेसिकली चेंज दी बायोडिग्रेडेबल गार्बेज or waste into a high quality manure, right, which can be used in the agriculture. So earthworms are very important to soil biology because by consuming an abundance of the biodegradable waste, they act as an adaptable natural bioreactors because they are changing waste into something useful. So these bioreactor basically capture energy and eliminate soil pathogens, right? So earthworms are very important for vermicomposting. The whole process is basically based on the earthworm. So they are the earthworms are the reason why the organic nutrients from decomposing tissues are recycled back into the living things by nature, because this whole process is natural by itself, right? For a very long time, earthworms have been recognized for their ability to stabilize the trash, and especially in the Southeast Asia and European nations. So they have been used for this because people knew that earthworm, naturally changes waste into something very useful. So earthworms and microbes both work together in the process. So basically they fasten the breakdown of the organic material. That means naturally the organic material is going to break it down itself into the inorganic form, or the simpler form, but earthworm and microbes basically fasten the process, right, hastening the process. So the widespread realization of the need of the recovering of the organic matter reintegrated into the natural cycle is what propelled the development of vermiculture. What does this mean? It means that people already knew about this, so the realization leads to the development of something which is the vermiculture and other uses of the technique that you can use earthworm to change the waste into something useful, right? Now the breakdown is aerobic, that means it uses oxygen. So organic waste is broken down into the simpler form by the use of oxygen, which will be used by earthworm and microbes cell. And earthworms and microorganisms basically biologically activity is peaking, that means they are increasing the biological activity, right? And that is what vermicomposting is. So the aerobic breakdown of organic waste by taking the advantage of earthworm and microorganism peak biological activity is called the vermicomposting. So you are using the worm for compost formation basically. So earthworm's ability to break up, combine and encourage microbial activity in the organic waste material is essential for the process. So for microbial activity encouragement, you need earthworm in the this process, right? So होता क्या है, आफ्टर कंज्यूमिंग द ऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंस, ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट, द अर्थवर्म टर्न इट इनटू बायोमास रिजेंबल्स, right? So that is peat, right, called the vermicompost. So this thing, when earthworm consume the organic substance, it converted into something which is very very similar to peat, right, and it is called the vermicompost. पीट आप कहाँ देखते हैं, जैसे हम जितनी भी आपकी what is peat basically? So peat is a natural substance which is basically formed from the dead plants. Dead plants. So if this is the ground, under the soil, this peat is formed in especially wet places, right? This is something which is very very similar to vermicompost also. So vermicomposting basically produces a product which with lower mass, higher humus content than the thermal composting. So with the help of heat, you can also convert the organic matter into the simpler form, but by vermicomposting, the product will be having a lower mass and higher humus content. So that is useful, and it also takes less time to process as compared to the thermal composting. So it is fast, and it produces the product is more यूजफुल, राइट, मोर आप कह लीजिए ग्रेड में ज़्यादा अच्छा है, बिकॉज ह्यूमस कंटेंट इज़ वट यू नीड बेसिकली, राइट? So it takes less time and reduces the likelihood of phytotoxicity, increases the value of the fertilizer because it is more humic, and it produces an additional product, that is the earthworm, that can be used for other purposes. Now earthworm कैसे वहाँ पे produce होगा, that we will see in coming slides, right? नाउ वर्मी कंपोस्टिंग अगर आप वन लाइन में देखना चाहें तो वर्मी कंपोस्टिंग इज अ बायोडिग्रेडेशन एंड स्टेबलाइजेशन ऑफ ऑर्गेनिक मैटर through the joint action of the earthworm and microorganism, which will result in nutrient rich humus like material that is called the vermicompost or vermicast. So this is your definition. Now earthworm is a natural bioreactors, act as a natural bioreactor, and they fragment, aerate and chemically transform the organic matter. So first they turn it into small particle size and then aerate it and chemically transform it. For this basically there is microorganisms, right? And then converting it into high quality organic fertilizers. So this is a list of earthworm species which is suitable for the purpose of vermicomposting. So you have Lumbricidae family, जिसमें there are certain species which are mentioned over here like Bimasto parvus, Icenia foetida, Icenia hortensis. You should remember one or two name of these species so that you can quote it in the exam, or if the name come across in any question, so you recognize it, right? So there are different families and different members are over here mentioned which are suitable for the vermicomposting. Now what is vermiculture? Vermicomposting is the conversion of the waste into the useful manure with the help of the worm. But what is the vermiculture? So vermiculture is the culturing of the earthworm, because you need these earthworm for vermicomposting. So the goal is to increase the number of the worms in order to obtain a sustainable harvest so that you can use them for vermicomposting. So worms are either used to expand a vermicomposting operation or sold to the customer who use them for the same or other purpose, right? So culturing of the worm is vermiculture, and using that particular worm for converting the biodegradable waste into manure is vermicomposting, right? So if we talk about earthworm, which is the main player here, earthworm belongs to phylum Annelida and to class Oligochaeta, which we have already discussed in the classification. So if you don't know about that, if you want to learn more about the phylum and the class, please go back and watch that lecture. So in this class there are more than 800 species, and most of the species belong to this particular family, that is the Lumbricidae family, and include the genera these, right? Icenia, Lumbricus, these are the genera. Dendrobena. Now the taxonomic classification is as such, like if you see over here, this is the whole classification. This is phylum, class, sub class, then there is order, suborder, superfamily, family, subfamily, and then finally this is the species Icenia foetida, which is also known as the red worm, right? Brandling worm, red wiggler worm, ठीक है? सो अलग अलग वर्म का अलग अलग क्लासिफिकेशन सिस्टम रहेगा. दैट इज़ नॉट आवर कंसर्न राइट नाउ. वी जस्ट नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज़ वर्मी कंपोस्टिंग एंड हाउ इट इज़ बीइंग डन. So based on the feeding habits, the earthworm are classified into detritivores or geophagous. What does that mean? So detritivores detritivore are the organism basically which obtain their nutrient by consuming the detritus, which is basically the dead plants or dead animals, dead plants or animals, right? But the geophagus is some species in the genus which basically have the habit of shifting through the substrate, and in a very layman term, geophagus mean earth eating basically, right? So they go from here to there, and whatever they keep on changing the substrate and then eating the dead remains, right? So earthworms are classified into detritivore and geophagous. We need the detritivore for our purpose. So detritivore feed near the soil. They feed mainly on the plant litter and the other plant debris in the soil, and these worms basically comprise the epigeek and the anisic form. This is important part, right? So you need the classification over here. So under earthworm you have detritivore and geophagous. In detritivore you have the worm type epigeek and anic form, right? Now geophagous worm feeding deeper beneath the surface in just large quantities of the organically rich soil. सो जियोफेगस फॉर्म्स जो हैं दे आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द detritivore, because if this is the soil surface, here you will find the litter, basically the dead decaying plant and animal detritus you will find over here. So here feeds the first one, that is the detritivore, right? But deeper layer में you will find the geophagus, because I told you this is earth feeding, right? Something like that, right? Very layman term. So geophagus form feeding deeper beneath the surface and ingest large quantity of the organically rich soil, and these are generally called as humus feeders, and they are comprised of endozoic earthworms. So there are three main type: epigeic, aneic या एनिसिक, जिस तरह से भी आप प्रोनाउंस करें, एंड एंडोजिक अर्थफॉर्म. सो दीज आर द थ्री डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स ऑफ द अर्थफॉर्म, राइट? नाउ ब्रेकिंग दिस डाउन अगेन, एपिजेक की अगर आप बात करें, सो दे लिव ऑन द सॉइल सर्फेस, लिटर फीडर हैं, दे डू नॉट बरो इन टू द सॉइल, सो दे डू नॉट फॉर्म बरोज, and typical species are lumbricus, rubellus and dendrobarna. So these are the epigeic worm. तो एपी से ही पता लग रहा है दे लिव ऑन द सॉइल सर्फेस, राइट? नाउ इफ वी सी द एनिसिक वर्म, सो दे लिव इन द परमानेंट एंड डीप वर्टिकल burrows. So they live in the deep burrows, right? So they form burrow, and litter and soil feeders they are, and they create deposit of organic residue mixed with some cast at the burrow entrance and in the burrows itself. तो एनिसिक्स को आपने कैसे याद रखना है? दे फॉर्म burrows, ठीक है? टिपिकल स्पीसीज आर lumbricus terrestris, and this is the other one. देन देर इज एंडोजेसिक या एंडोजिकिक, जिस तरह से भी आप प्रोनाउंस करें. तो एंडोजेसिक की अगर हम बात करें, सो दे लिव इन द मिनरल सॉइल elaborating non-permanent burrows without preferential orientation. So endozoic जो हैं they are living in the mineral soil and they have burrows, but the burrows are not permanent. They are a soil feeders, right? अब यहाँ पे देखो ये litter feeder भी है ना, लेकिन this is completely soil feeder. That is why we call it a geophagus form, and typical species are mentioned over here. ठीक है जी. Now if we see certain other characters of these worms, so epigeic में toxicity assessment of the pesticide contaminated litter can be done with the help of this worm, right? Because they are feeding on the soil surface. So toxicity assessment of the pesticide that have been used, right? So pesticide will be in the litter because you are using the pesticide over the plants. So the dead remain of the plants will be containing the pesticide. So the earthworm is feeding on that. So you can get the assessment from there, right? And pesticide transfer through the food web, that can be seen over here. Degradation of the pesticides accumulated on the soil surface. So anything related to the degradation of the pesticide, toxicity of the pesticide, and the transfer of the pesticide through the food web, that can be understood very well with the help of the epigeic species. Okay? Then if we think about the anisic species, so toxicity assessments of the pesticides contaminated soil. Why? Because they are also feeding on the litter, right? Then pesticide transfer, again degradation of pesticide in bulk soil and the midden and the burrow lining. So ड्रिलोस्फेयर जिसको आप कहते हो, बिकॉज दे मेक बरोज ना, तो बरोज की लाइनिंग पे भी यू कैन फाइंड द डिग्रेडेशन ऑफ द पेस्टिसाइड, राइट? देन वर्टिकल ट्रांसफर ऑफ द पेस्टिसाइड रेसिड्यू बाय द अर्थ फॉर्म एक्टिविटी, दैट इज द ड्रैगिंग और द कंटेमिनेटेड लिटर इन टू द बरोज, so that can be seen. Okay, and in case of the endogesic, the toxicity assessments of pesticide contaminated bulk soil. Now remember you are, because they are also making burrows ना, so bulk soil में contamination देख सकते हो. Pesticide transfer तीनों के केस में you can find that in the food web, and degradation of the pesticides in the bulk soil, right? This is important. In the epigeic worm, you are seeing this degradation accumulated on the soil surface. That is the difference, right? So this is something different from there. And then finally the transport of the pesticide residue in the bulk soil by the earthworm activity, because you are talking about the worm which are geophagus. So this is the difference. I hope you understand now. The one epigeic, it is on the surface. This one, the anisic, it is making the burrow which is permanent and deep vertical burrow, and endogesic is making burrow, but burrows are not permanent, and the orientation is not supposed to be very rigid, right? Because कोई preferential orientation नहीं है जैसे यहाँ पे है, vertical orientation होना चाहिए, right? Moving on. So these are the common earthworm species that is used. Again, a table of some earthworm species. So here are four common species that has been used: red wiggler, red worm, blue worm, and African night crawler. And these are the scientific name. Now they all have their key features. Like red wiggler has highly efficient and tolerate varied temperature. So प्रोफिलिक ब्रीडर इज ऑल, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा वॉर्म प्रोड्यूस होते हैं. प्रोफिलिक ब्रीडर का ये मतलब हुआ कि द पोटेंशियल इज़ वेरी मच, रिप्रोडक्टिव पोटेंशियल बहुत ज़्यादा है इसका. रेड वॉर्म जो है फास्ट ग्रोथ रेट है, ट्रॉपिकल प्रेफरेंस है इनकी. ब्लू वॉर्म जो है वो ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट में रहेंगे एंड रैपिड ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट डाइजेशन इज देयर, excuse me. And the African night crawler is large size and high quality casting. So every uh, worm that has been used for vermicomposting, they have their own features, and according to the climate, the tolerance, and the amount of the worm, the growth rate, they have been used as such, right? Now if we talk about the vermicomposting process, so now coming to the process. So how it works. So the first step is organic waste. You have to have that waste then ingested by the worm. So that means you are going to mix the organic waste with the earthworms. Then the worm will basically ingest the organic waste, digest it, then microbial activity continues and casting excreted, and this will form the mature vermicompost unit from where you get your manure. So this is a picture of the vermicompost unit, and an open land में आपको दिखा रखा है. So these heaps, these are the sites basically, right? So what are the steps in the making of the vermicompost? So the whole process is stepwise manner. So first is the bed or container preparation, क्योंकि ज़रूरी नहीं है कि you need a whole land, you can do it in a container also, right? So that is there. So you need this thing first of all, and then moving ahead, second thing is the addition of the organic waste. So first you prepare the bed, then you add the organic waste. Third would be addition of the worm, then there is maintenance of that site, and then finally you will harvest, right? So one by one we'll see each. First of all, a bed or container preparation. So bedding is the basically using the cocoa peat, shredded newspaper, straws, right, which basically provide aeration and moisture. So these mainly cocoa peat is used over here. This provides proper environment for earthworm to grow over there and ingest the organic waste, right? Then moisture is ideally 60 to 80% of that bed, container or the bed which has been prepared for vermicomposting. Temperature needs to be around 15 to 30 degree optimum for this particular red worm, the regular worm that we have discussed, right? So the raw material for bedding includes the biogas slurry. Sometimes you can use that. Cattle dung is used. Kitchen waste can be used, right? Industrial waste can be used. City refuse or the garbage, and the horticultural waste, any kind of waste basically, and plant products, right? So all the waste can be used for bedding purposes. So this is a picture which basically tells you about the vermi bed and its dimensions. Dimensions are not that important for your exam, but still you need to understand how it works. So basically this is the vermicompost bedding. So here you see this is the sheet. So this is extremely strong 7-layer bonded together by the maximum strength and durability, so that the particular this heap of the compost will not collapse, right? So that's you need. Durability should be there. So this sheet is basically made of a lot of layers. Like here you can see strong 7 layers, right? Then custom made pockets are over there for adding on ground support, right? Because so that it should not collapse basically. Then aeration windows are there, you can see over there, for air ventilation. Then specially designed outlet for collecting the vermi wash, right? So you can add anything from here, but you will collect it from here, right? Now second step is, once you have this prepared very well, right, then you will add your organic waste. So kitchen waste, garden clipping, farm residue, biodegradable municipal waste, right, that will be added. But always remember to avoid non biodegradable waste. Citrus peel in excess you cannot, because that will change the pH. Oil or salty food scraps, that is avoided in the vermicompost, right? Because they change the optimal conditions. Then the worms are added, so add a healthy stock of around 1000 to 2000 worms per meter square for small scale unit, right? So these are the worms, सीडिंग बोलते हैं इसको बेसिकली. देन फाइनली द मेंटेनेंस, सो रेगुलर टर्निंग ऑफ द एरेशन, दैट इज वाई वी basically created those aeration windows, and maintain the moisture and the shade, right? But this will vary from species to species, which species you are growing, जहाँ से आप लोगे they will tell you, right? So that is there. Then harvesting, so after around 45 to 90 days the mature vermicompost is dark, granular, odor free also, and separate worms manually. So what you do when you see this thing that the compost is ready, so you separate your worms manually or by using the light exposure to collect the casting. If you provide the light exposure, so that's how you can basically separate the worm from the rest of the cast, and then you can use those worms again in the next unit. So that is how vermicompost work. Now what are the characteristic of the vermicompost जो हमें मिला है वहाँ से, product कैसा है? तो the product is rich in macro and micronutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and it contains beneficial microbes also. So nitrogen fixing bacteria, phosphate solubilizers are also present in the vermicompost. It improves the soil structure, enhances the aeration because it is porous in nature, and the water holding capacity of the soil is also increased. pH की अगर हम बात करें, pH is neutral to slightly alkaline, and the carbon nitrogen ratio is quite narrow. It is 15:1 to 20:1, right? And it indicates a well stabilized organic matter. So nutrient का composition जो है वो कुछ इस तरह का है. So this is taken from the book itself. So this, if you want to have a look through it, you can just pause the video. जैसे अगर आप ऑर्गेनिक कार्बन का देखेंगे तो 9.5 टू 17.98% है. नाइट्रोजन जो है दिस इज़ 0.5 टू 1.5%. फॉस्फोरस इज़ 0.1 टू 0.3%. पोटाशियम इज़ 0.15 टू 0.56, and so like just like that. So if you see here, sulfur is 128 to 548 mg per kilogram, right? So it varies according to the nutrient. This is important for you to remember these things, right? Now, what is the advantage of vermicomposting? So first of all, it is very important for soil health because it enhances the nutrient availability through mineralization. You can see over there. It increases the microbial diversity also and improves the soil porosity, drainage, the water holding capacity of the soil, aeration जो है increase हो जाती है, तो soil is more fertile now. Second advantage is the waste management. With the vermicompost, you are basically converting the biodegradable waste into a valuable organic fertilizer. The vermicompost that you produce, you will use it for organic farming. Then reduce the landfill load also. Greenhouse gas emission is also reduced. If you see in the economic perspective, so economic benefits are also there because you require low input and low tax system for this, but the potential for the industry income is very very high, and this type of system has been used by a lot of people to increase their income, right? And they produce both vermicompost and worm biomass, which can be sold for poultry, fish feed, and people are very successful actually in this case. Then there is environmental sustainability because you are promoting recycling and circular bioeconomy. You are basically using the waste and getting it here with something useful, right? Then chemical free soil fertility, this is also very important, right? So you don't have to use the chemicals for increasing soil fertility because the manure will do it in a natural way. So if you see vermicompost, so there are certain things which are associated with it. First is the enriched with the auxin, gibberellin acid, cytokinin, humic acid, vitamins. Now what is this auxin, gibberellin? These are the phytohormones which are increased, right? And improve plant adaptation to abiotic stress also. Vermicompost, if you are using, it suppresses the disease and insect attack also. For example, it control the Fusarium moniform and this particular species. That means the particular diseases are also controlled when you are using vermicompost. Long term supplier of the nutrient like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other nutrients, and then increase soil porosity, which is basically increasing the aeration, moisture increase हो जाएगा, moisture retention increase होगा, and it also maintains soil temperature. Then it enhances the soil biodiversity by promoting the beneficial microbe. 20 times increases the microbial activity in the soil with the help of the compost, and increasing the activity of soil enzyme breakdown of the organic waste material. So there are a lot of benefits which are added when you add vermicompost to the soil, right? Now vermiculture की अगर हम बात करें, it is beyond the composting. So vermiculture जो है it does not stop at the compost. Why? Because earthworm की अगर हम बात करें, earthworm meal is a high protein feed on the poultry and aquaculture. It is used in poultry as such, and aquaculture में भी it is used as waste, right? Bait, not waste. At for catching fishes you use earthworm, isn't it? So when you do vermiculture, you are culturing the earthworm, so you are providing that earthworm for vermicomposting, but you can use it in other manner also. So earthworm meals are provided to these particular industries, right? You can sell your earthworm to these industries. Secondly, soil remediation. So earthworm improves the soil aeration and decontaminates some pollutants also. So this is also very important. Then biofertilizer production is there. So synergy with the beneficial microbes like azotobacter and mycorrhizae, the earthworm basically are used as the biofertilizer, right? So they increases this biofertilizer production. So this is something beyond vermicomposting that worms can do. Now what are the limitations and challenges? So if you see, the sensitivity to temperature, moisture and pH fluctuation is very very challenging because I have told you that different species tolerate different kind of temperature and pH. First is this. Then vulnerable to predators also, because earthworms are prey to certain birds and ants, so that you have to take care of. Then heavy metal accumulation if industrial waste is used, so that is also a very big problem, right? If your waste has heavy metal, so earthworm will ingest it as such, and the metals are accumulated, and further if the earthworm goes into the food web, that metal is going to accumulate. That is a very big problem, because this will cause certain diseases. Like if you accumulate mercury, so certain kind of diseases associated with it, right? If other metals are heavy metals are basically associated with disease and disorders. Then it requires regular monitoring for a healthy worm population. So it is some kind of business that you have to be there, right? You have to go and check your composting unit after a certain amount of time. Then there are modern developments. So vermi tech and industrial vermiculture की अगर हम बात करें, so commercial scale units are there जिसमें windrows and continuous flow reactors are there. Then there is vermifiltration, which is wastewater treatment using the earthworm. There is integrated vermiculture with integrated organic farming systems, right? So you are doing it all together. And there are research trends where you are studying the earthworm gut microbiome. That means from the gut of earthworm you are taking the microbiota and studying it for enhanced biodegradation, how you can enhance it, and molecular marker for the species selection are also there. Research has been taking place for this also. And vermiculture for mine spoil reclamation and phytoremediation. सो माइन स्पॉइल जो एरिया है वहाँ पे वर्मिकल्चर किस तरह से आप बेनिफिट प्रोवाइड कर सकता है, फाइटो रेमेडिएशन कैसे हो सकती है प्लांट्स को लेके जो आप करते हो, है ना. सो दैट आर द ट्रेंडिंग रिसर्च एरिया. सो फाइनली दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन वर्मी कंपोस्ट एंड वर्मी कल्चर. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड इट नाउ. वर्मी कल्चर में आप अर्थवर्म को ब्रीड करते हैं, रेयर करते हैं, पर जो कंपोस्ट है उसमें आप उनका यूज़ कर रहे हैं. हाउ यू आर यूजिंग दैम? यू आर यूजिंग दैम टू डिकम्पोज द ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट, राइट. सो वर्मी कल्चर में आपका सारा फोकस रहता है वॉर्म की प्रोडक्शन पे. वॉर्म का नंबर इंक्रीज हो, ब्रीडिंग करवाओगे उसकी. वर्मी कंपोस्ट में द होल फोकस इज ओवर द मेन्योर प्रोडक्शन, राइट. सो वर्मी कल्चर जो है वो वॉर्म फार्मिंग और फीड रिसर्च में यूज़ होगा. वर्मी कंपोस्ट जो है दैट इज़ फर्दर यूज द एग्रीकल्चर इन सम मैनर, राइट. सो दिस वॉज द लेक्चर. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड समथिंग फ्रॉम द लेक्चर. आपको कुछ समझ आया हो अबाउट वर्मी कंपोस्ट जो लेक्चर से पहले आपको नहीं पता था. एंड स्टिल इफ़ यू हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ कन्फ्यूजन or question, feel free to comment it down. And if you understand something from the lecture, do like the video and share it with your friends who can be benefited from the lecture. And finally, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet and you are new. And thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video lecture.